comes through the door, and I just said, the police are here. And I went to the door and I opened the door and I said, is he alive? And one of them said, let's go inside. And I said, is he alive? And my brain had just stopped. I wasn't being obstructive, but I just wasn't moving. And I just said, is he alive? And he said, no. So I just fell to the floor.
This is the bit of motorway where Jason and Alexandru were killed. And what is striking about it when you're here is there are so few laybys. They're called refuges and they're miles apart. So when the two of them had their bump, there was nowhere for them to go. They couldn't get off the road and they were so vulnerable. Because all they could do was stay in this lane, which used to be a hard shoulder, but it's now the inside lane. And if you park up here, that's very dangerous. What have smart motorways done to your life?
It's ruined it. Jason and I got together relatively later in life, and it never occurred to us that we weren't going to be together forever. I'm terrified that it's going to be a coach for the kids next.
Claire's story matters. Smart motorways have become important in keeping traffic moving on the crucial roads that connect our country. The plan is based on one motorway in the Midlands. This is the M42, just south of Birmingham, and it's always a busy road, and it's very busy, almost static sometimes during the rush hour. So the plan was to try and ease congestion. The idea was simple: to turn the hard shoulder into an extra lane. The smart motorway was born. What they also offered was live control and more technology. Cameras to spot broken down vehicles, lane closures to keep people safe. The M42 was a success, so 200 miles were introduced in England with 300 more planned. They're now scattered across the busiest bits of our motorway network, but do drivers understand them? Do you know what a smart motorway is?
I haven't got a clue, sorry.
We've just driven through one.
Great.
Variable speed, can be controlled, notify of accidents in advance, alternative routes, all that sort of stuff.
So if you see a red cross, what do?
Get out of that lane.
What is a smart motorway?
No idea.
You've just driven through one.
No, I know that I can't go on a lane with a red cross. That's all I know about it. I think we're going to miss not having the hard shoulders.
Why?
Because it's a haven, safe haven.
What would you do if you broke down?
I'd be in trouble. I wouldn't know what to do.
So what are we supposed to do if we break down on a smart motorway?
What we're going to do now is have a little scenario.
The AA thinks smart motorways are so dangerous they're retraining their patrol officers.
If you approach a car broken down in a light lane 3 of the motorway. Okay. Then, in this scenario, what I think I'd do is, obviously I can't stop it surviving, but it's life and danger, so it's a 999 straight away.
Yeah. So they can close the whole motorway, can't they? They can have it all gridlocked here. Yeah. It's block the whole lot.
Yeah, it seems a sensible thing, especially if someone's broken down the lane through.
Yeah.
Roadside rescue companies are often the first to hear from drivers in trouble.
AA emergency service. Can I just confirm, are you on the motorway or are you in a safe place?
Lay-by, big enough and safe enough for one of our vehicles to attend.
I've listened to some of the calls from members that have broken down in that situation, and if they're in a live lane, they can't get out of the car on the left-hand side. You know, the advice is quite bleak. It's keep your seatbelt on, put your hazards on, and all the lights on you can, and dial 999. It is an emergency situation that we're putting people in.
There's no hard shoulder on the actual side of the M6. In a lane. You're in a live lane. Yes, okay.
Stephen Lark was stranded on a live lane too. He broke down on a motorway with no hard shoulder and was stuck there for half an hour.
It's the scariest time I've ever had in my life in a car was when I broke down on that night.
He could only get out of his car by stepping into the speeding traffic.
There was a small gap, so I was able to quickly jump out, slam the door, run around the back before I got taken out by a passing truck. And it's amazing how fast 50 miles an hour seems when you're standing really close to the road.
If you can't get out of the passenger side, the only escape is into the live lane. Look here on the inside lane, a car broken down and people on the motorway. The alternative is to stay inside the car, and that can be dangerous too.
I'm stuck in the middle of the M6. My car's broken down.
That's what the family in this 999 call decided to do.
Okay, whereabouts on the M6?
I'm on the left-hand lane. I've passed Knutsford. I'm going northbound. Got the hazards on. What else can I do? Because I've got a family of 5 in the car.
Okay, don't worry. And you say there's 5 people in the car?
Yeah, oh shit.
Hello? Hello?
This was their car, hit by a lorry at 50 miles an hour. Amazingly, they all survived.
It's just the most awful situation when you've broken down, your kids are in the back of the car, and there's nothing you can do to protect your kids. I certainly believe smart motorways are a scandal because we've been saying from the outset they are dangerous, they're not fit for purpose.
So how did we end up with a system that seems so dangerous?
You assume that when you're told something and you're a minister that it's going to be like...
I've come to meet Mike Penning. He was the Tory Transport Minister 10 years ago who agreed to expand the smart motorway network.
And the Highways Agency said to me, we use the technology that we've got, we can do this safely. And the evidence from the pilots showed that. So then we started to roll it out.
But on that first smart motorway, the M42, safe stopping areas were on average 600 metres apart. When the smart system was extended, those laybys were up to 2.5 miles apart. That's a disgrace, isn't it? That you signed off on something that then wasn't delivered, and what was delivered is dangerous.
I agree. And that's why I'm sitting in front of this camera saying this to you now. And we need to do something about it now. And there are people, and I'm sure you'll be interviewing some people, that people have lost their loved ones. There are people that have been killed and seriously injured on these roads. And it should never have happened.
Highways England say the plans were approved by ministers. They say any death on our roads is one too many. And they're working to gather the facts about smart motorway safety. The new Transport Secretary has ordered a review.
When this system was trialled on the M42, they were 600 metres apart. When the network was rolled out, they're now 2.5 miles apart.
I think they are almost certainly, in some cases, too far apart. We must be guided by the facts. And so what I've asked through the stock take is to get all of the information together. Is it the case that if they are 600 metres apart, that is the optimum way to build a network?
The police, the AA, even the man who approved this system, Mike Penning, they all think it's crucial.
What I can tell you, pretty clear steer I would say, is I think 2.5 miles is much too far apart. People need to be passing these every 60 seconds driving at a normal speed.
Problems on a smart motorway can happen at any time.
Yeah, it is. You should feel that right away.
A car has broken down. There's no hard shoulder. There's nowhere for it to